Imagine having to study your eyes out for an exam. You go into the exam hall, write your exam, come out of it, and hear responses such as, "I've never thought like this in my life." This
Is where?
I don't know. I'm speechless. The exam is on God. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. What's popping? How y'all doing? In today's video, we're going to be talking about books, about studying, and look, I know how stressful and absolutely draining studying can be, which is why I'm going to be sharing 8 proven tips to study smarter, not harder. Know this and know what? Bliss. And just so we're clear, when I say exams, I mean undergraduate exams, tests, postgraduate exams, interviews, promotion exams, anything that involves answering questions and expecting results. The first thing you want to do is to go to class. Obviously, if it's an online degree, then you need to get all the materials you need for your modules. Going to class enables you get the information you need to pass your exams from the horse's mouth. Think about it. From the way they lay emphasis on certain topics or the way they ask questions in class, you'd have an idea of how your exam questions would come. Going to class or getting materials is not enough. What's that thing they say about writing again? Yes, the faintest ink is more powerful than the strongest memory. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to my second point, which is take notes. Summarize what you read into your own words. You can try to get a highlighter to highlight and summarize the main points when you're reading. This makes it more concise and easier to understand. Plus, when you write by hand, it makes it easier to remember in the future because you wrote it. Next, make it make sense. It helps a lot to connect the information you get to similar topics. You might consider asking yourself questions like, what can I relate this to? How is this significant? For me, as a clinical student at this level, sometimes reading a lot of verbose notes or materials can be very overwhelming. So what I do is to just look for the clinical significance. I imagine that I have a patient who asks me such a question, and that way I'm able to make my note make sense because I have a reason to read a certain part of it in order to answer a question. I don't know if that makes sense, but if it doesn't, please make it make sense. You're welcome. Moving forward, mnemonics are your friends. In fact, see mnemonics 5 and 6. So a mnemonic is something or anything used to remember something, right? I'll give you an example. 2 examples actually. So in one of the exams that we just wrote, we're reading specific complications of general anesthesia, and one of those complications was anaphylaxis. And in order for us to remember anaphylaxis, we needed to talk about the features of anaphylaxis, which include rash, urticaria, bronchospasm, hypotension, angioedema, and vomiting. So we came up with rub have. Actually, my friend Nengi came up with rub have. We took the first letters from each of the features just for us to remember it easily. However, sometimes mnemonics are not as straightforward as we expect them to be. So we had a management course to write, and we had to write the principles of management. There are 14 of them, and for us to remember them, we had to come up with mnemonics. So the mnemonic that we came up with was dad, u square, src, whole, SIE. Don't get me wrong, these two worked because we all remembered all the points and the explanations. But the point I'm trying to make is that mnemonics help you, but you should be willing to stretch your brain because they're not always straightforward. The fifth tip is to try reading out loud. Not in a library, of course. That would be weird and you'd probably get kicked out. Moving on. When you read out loud in the most descriptive way possible, it helps you sort of own what you're saying. So basically, the points you're studying will be easier to recall because you will more easily remember what you said as opposed to what your eyes merely read. Do you get? Now, reading out loud works best when you study in groups, which is my sixth point, by the way. Group studying helps way more than you think. When the members of your group come together with different ideas or different interpretations to a particular explanation, it makes you understand the point easily. Another benefit of group studying comes when you teach your group members. It also helps you strengthen your active recall because the more you teach, the more you learn. As nice as group studying sounds, it has its own cons. So here we're going to compare the pros and the cons of group study. Under the pros, you have motivation, better understanding, ability to teach what you've learned. Because when you're demotivated, your group members can help motivate you. On the con side, you have that it's quite slow because there are a lot of people coming together trying to read and they probably won't read at the same pace. So there's that. And when you are creating group or study groups, avoid large numbers because overcrowded group studies can be distracting. Number 7, have a study timetable. This will help you allocate a specific block of time for studying. Debunk the idea that the longer your study hours, the more prepared you are. Lies from Pinocchio. Your success is more dependent on how focused you are during the few minutes or even hours, if you're strong, that you study for. Reminds me of when I felt overwhelmed by the many courses I had to go through during the COVID lockdown break. And I had my sister make me this timetable, which I didn't use, by the way. She teased me for it, trust her. The point is that it helped make my work look easier. I mean, there I was stressed out of my mind because I had to cover up 10 courses. But in the timetable that I had to read just 2 courses in a day at most. So it sort of simplified my work for me. The final and most important point is rest. Yes, rest your brain. Your brain helps you think, see, talk, and remember things. Guess what else needs you to remember things? Exams. You need to rest your brain when preparing for exams, especially the night before your exams. Your brain needs rest to improve its function and maintain a sharp memory. So please sleep like a king or queen that you are. Rest equals happy brain, and happy brain equals good memory. So I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you with these few points of mine, that to prepare efficiently for an exam, you need to study smarter, not harder. So we've come to the end of this video. Please help me like this video, and in the comment section let me know what you do to prepare for your exams or additional tips that I must have missed. I'd love to hear from you, and thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to share this video with your friends. Until next time, I love you.